Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. In 1961, President Eisenhower warned about the joint dangers of the military-industrial complex and government-controlled science.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. Akin to and largely responsible for the sweeping changes in our industrial military posture has been the technological revolution during recent decades. In this revolution, research has become central. It also becomes more formalized, complex, and costly. A steadily increasing share is conducted for, by, or at the direction of the federal government. Today, the solitary inventor, tinkering in his shop, has been overshadowed by task forces of scientists in laboratories and testing fields. In the same fashion, the free university, historically the fountainhead of free ideas and scientific discovery, has experienced a revolution in the conduct of research. Partly because of the huge costs involved, a government contract becomes virtually a substitute for intellectual curiosity. For every old blackboard, there are now hundreds of new electronic computers. The prospect of domination of the nation's scholars by federal employment, project allocations, and the power of money is ever present and is gravely to be regarded. Yet in holding scientific research and discovery in respect, as we should, we must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
2 years later, President Kennedy was assassinated, and 1 month after the assassination, President Truman wrote this editorial. For some time, I have been disturbed by the way the CIA has been diverted from its original assignment. It has become an operational and at times a policy-making arm of the government. This has led to trouble. I never had any thought that when I set up the CIA that it would be injected into peacetime cloak and dagger operations. Fast forward to the present time, and we have the intelligence community openly threatening the President of the United States.
Let me tell you, you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going on. Look at the Russian hacking. Without the intelligence community, we wouldn't have discovered it.
The intelligence community coup against President Trump has gone on for years, with one fake story after another. So let's take a look at what's going on in Washington, D.C. More than 90% of votes in Washington, D.C. go to Democrats. And 5 of the 7 wealthiest counties in the United States surround Washington, D.C. in Virginia and Maryland. I used to live in Howard County, Maryland, and worked for a defense contractor. I've also worked for several other defense contractors headquartered in Virginia and Maryland. Defense contractors are the reason for all of this wealth surrounding Washington, D.C. Regardless of where they say their home state is, every member of Congress lives around Washington, D.C. Virginia resident Liz Cheney pretended she lived in Wyoming and got very rich supporting the military-industrial complex. Arlington, Virginia is right across the river from Washington, D.C., and it's the home of defense contractors. It's also the home of the Pentagon. By voting for war, all of the members of Congress bring lots of money into the communities where they live. This means good schools for their children and lots of other perks coming back into the pockets of people in Congress. When someone like President Trump comes along and tries to clean things up, the D.C. establishment gets rid of them. They give hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money to defense contractors, and they say they're defending democracy. President Eisenhower also warned about the dangers of government-funded science. The world's leading climate scamster, Michael Mann, is the richest university teacher in the United States. His net worth is about $5 million. He pushes the agenda which politicians in Washington, D.C. want to see, and he's handsomely rewarded for doing that. Toto's been pulling back the curtain on the climate scam for more than 15 years. And as of today, all 4 of his newborn babies have opened up their eyes.